Today we're going to be installing the Chigee AIO 5. Now, if you've got an old bike like me, this is my 03 Bandit. It's a pretty analog bike, so this right here gives it some good modernization. So let's get into it. So as you might be able to tell, this is not the same day that we filmed the intro to the video. That is because I've been using the Chigee for exactly 1,818.7 miles. I can tell that because there's an odometer on here and I've absolutely loved it. This is going to be a two-part series. One, which is this video, which is going to be the install. Then we're going to have another video later on with a long-term review of the Chigee. But first, let's get into the install. The first thing we're going to do before we get everything on the bike is I'm going to take off a few things. First being my SP Connect up here in the front. Now, I love the SP Connect, but the Chigee is going to replace the whole system so I can keep my phone in my pocket and hopefully save on some battery life, as well as take the seat off because this is where I'm going to access my battery. So this is the system that goes on the handlebars, and you've also got some spacers that go onto the bars themselves just to make sure you've got the right fitting. So we need that, and then it does actually come with the Allen keys and things you would need to install it all, so we're going to go over to that because these are torque bits, not Allen keys. So I've actually just realized these are anti-theft torque bits, so they've got that thing in the middle there, so not anyone can just come along and undo these, which is pretty neat. So I'm going to undo the whole system and then get onto the handlebars. We'll find the right spacer for my bars, and so I'm just going to adjust it there to somewhat how I want. And then because my steering stem, I can't put it there, I can offset it to the middle in preparation for the Chigee to go there. I've loosened my nuts now, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to unwind the wire on the cables. Probably should have done this before we started filming, but cables out, then the Chigee will face up, so buttons on top. That will go into the mount itself there, and then I will tighten these back up and get it how I want it facing. I'll leave it there for now, for video's sake. What I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out where all these wires go. I'm going to probably route them through the side panel here, underneath my tank to the battery. Then I have got a wire here for my heated grips that I might piggyback off of, and the Chigee system does actually come with a piggyback that goes into the ignition wire. Now the ignition wire needs to be from 12 or 11 to 14 volts. It can't be a signal wire, it has to be a full-on VCC wire. So whilst we're doing all this, my internet's a bit slow on my phone, so I'm just gonna download the app. Now it does have it here, you can also search for Chigee Go, and it's gonna be the first one on there, so I'm just gonna let that download, if my internet works. I'm gonna chuck my phone to the side and then we'll get to wiring. So if you're following this tutorial and you've got a Bandit, the way you do this is you unscrew this little bolt on the side, all the way. Then there is some tabs that you just pull off. Don't worry. Goes into a little rubber grommet. That comes off and now you have access to wire them under the tank.
Bosh.
Le bosh. So I've got all the wires here and they have so nicely labeled all of them. So we've got one cam B, we've got another one cam F, and then we've also got power and OBD. Now I'm assuming cam F means camera front and cam B means camera back. So we're gonna put these to the side till we do the cameras. I just wanna wire it up and make sure the Chigee turns on whilst the app downloads, and then we'll do all that. But then we're gonna plug in the power next, which also includes the signal wire that goes to your ignition. Now box A has a GPS in it, as well as the power connections for everything, and also a nice little tag. So you can show everyone that you run Chigee. There is a sticker as well to put on your bike to tell people that you have a Chigee if you would like that. So obviously red goes into the red plug on the Chigee itself. Red goes to red, which is positive on your battery. Black goes to negative on your battery. Then the yellow, as in universal, is going to be signal. It's already pre-cut if you want to add on a bullet connector, but I'm going to be using the piggyback connectors they have in the packet. I'll show you those in a second. So just to get the best wiring I can, I'm going to take off my tank just so I can route it through properly. Before I take the tank off fully, I also need to take this plate off, which exposes my battery. Obviously every bike is different depending on where your battery goes. So that comes out, I can use this as a tray now, and that exposes my battery, which I currently also have the negative for my heated grips on at the moment. So I'm going to chuck the positive and the negative and then route it all the way through to the power cable on the side. So the wires coming out of the Chigee itself are quite long for me. They end up just over my carbs and I don't really want that. So I'm going to zip tie them to the front here. And good thing about Chigee as well is that it comes with a few zip ties for you to zip tie it in the places that you need it, just to make it as organized as possible. So I'm going to take it down my steering stem here and then through my little loop and then zip tie them somewhere in here and then put the cover back on. So what I'm going to do with this one is actually I'm going to take it from the reverse. So I'm going to go through here and bring it from the back forward, just so I can get it in the right places. Obviously you want to route these away from any heat because you don't want your plastics to melt and cause a short. I'm pretty sure these will probably be somewhat heat proof, but just to be sure, don't overdo it. Okay, so I'm just going to plug in the red one. Now these are a cool system, obviously they're going to be waterproof. They've got a cut out where you need to go. Also the pins can only line up one way. They'll plug in and then screw it on just to make sure nothing unhinges itself. There we go. So that plugs in, and now I'm going to plug it into the battery and the ignition wire just to make sure everything is good, and we'll do a first boot up. Okay, so my negatives are secure on there. The last bit for the powering is going to be setting this to an ignition wire. Now I'm going to put this again on this little cable I've got here running from my heated grips. So if I grab the wiring connectors, which are in the same bag as the zip ties, they are these red things. Now you're going to need a pair of pliers. We do have one in the Oxford toolkit. And basically how this works is two wires go in on this side and they'll bridge a gap between each other. So you want to just make sure that both wires are in there. So red one is in the right slot, yellow one is all the way pushed in, and then this will come down. You grab your pliers and you secure them together. So the yellow one is coming back out. Then I'm just going to make sure then that closes, and I'm just going to do one more on with the pliers. Cool. So that shouldn't now come out. They should be bridged. So we'll see if the Chigee turns on when the ignition goes on. Best sound ever. Okay. So that's going to go in the box because we're not going to litter. And then, so I'm going to go into the Chigee app, which is the Chigee Go app. Ignition's going to come on. Hopefully I haven't messed anything up. Sick. So next thing I'm going to install is the GPS. Now there is a facing down and a facing upside, and you want to make sure this is mounted so no metal or anything is in the way. I'm going to put the sticky pad on the top and mount it on the inside of my fairing here, which is just plastic. So I'm going to clean down the inside, wire it all the way through, and that plugs into the black plug that is next to the power cables. So I've just taken the tank off to make it a little bit easier. There is another notch in this and these just plug together. There is also two arrows in the top there. Plug these in, make sure it's nice and tight, and you should be good. I'm going to try and push this back through to give it the least amount of slack possible. Make sure it's not going to get pinched by the tank. And yeah, that should be good. So we've installed all the wires that are necessary for now. There is the cameras to the back and the front. We're going to leave this to another day. It'll be in the same video, which will be in like 2 minutes for you guys. But I want to print a little bracket and design something that goes in between my clocks and my headlight. Otherwise I could put it under my headlight or my fender. And I'm going to be putting a tail tidy on the Bandit as well, so I don't want to put it here just yet. Now it's recommended that it goes from 60 centimeters to 90 centimeters off the ground. That's the ideal point for the cameras, but yeah, they'll fit on the front and the back, and we'll cut that in a second. I'm just going to put all of this back together and we're going to try it on the road. So now we're back at the 1800 mile mark on the Chigee, just to give you a little extra and explanation on the camera side of things. So when we ended, we connected the Chigee to my phone just to set it up, update it, everything like that. To connect the cameras, we didn't really want to film it because it's just a lot of cable management and pretty self-explanatory. The back one goes into the back port and the front one goes into the front port on the connectors. Tuck the wires where you want, and then they just route through the bike. You can stick one on the back, one on the front, and the mounting brackets come with either stickies or screw-ons. Now for the front one, I actually designed and made a custom bracket with my 3D printer, just so it can sit between the clocks and the headlight nice and sleek. The back one is a normal mounting system. I've also installed the TPS system with the side bit here, and you can have that on both wheels to get your tire pressure and tire temperatures. That can also go straight onto the Chigee, but I just wanted to have it on the side because I like the robust look of the monitor, just to be completely honest with you. But yeah, saying all that, that pretty much sums up the install video. Now I'm gonna go more into detail later on our other video of the long-term review, but like I said, I've been using this for 1800 miles now and absolutely love it. I wouldn't put my phone back on. I'm gonna continue to use this. I've actually got a few cool projects in mind where I'm gonna remove my clocks and completely replace it with the Chigee system. But I need to program an OBD reader, which this can actually do, but we'll get that in the other video. And yeah, I absolutely love it. I use the rear view camera sometimes as my rear view mirror when I know where I'm going, and it works flawlessly. Let us know what you think in the comments below. like the video, subscribe, ride safe, and we'll see you in the next one.